Greetings, I am Legacy Moon, and this is True Crime and Mysteries. Welcome back, current subscribers, new subscribers, haven't decided to subscribe, and those of you who are here for the very first time. Today we are going to be getting into some unemployment fraud by some very creative people. What they've done is very, very creative and something I would have never thought of before. Not that I'm a criminal or anything, but it's interesting. So let's get into it. We are going to be in the state of Mississippi right now, where State Auditor Shad White said that during COVID, Mississippi handed out over $500 million of illegal unemployment compensation payments. He further states that it's tragic to think about what that money could have gone for instead. He also says that the bulk of the money went to out-of-state fraudsters that they'll never be able to catch and receive compensation from. Now, because of all this fraud, he came up with something called Operation Payback, where they were doing audits on the accounts and, finding people because they are ready to get their compensation back and have these people, pay for their crime of getting these illegal benefits. Meet Ken Jarrell Thomas. He is currently a Mississippi inmate, and he is serving time for the crime of capital murder. I really feel like if he would just have used his mind for good and chose a better path, he would be a very good, productive citizen. So let's get into what he did. Now, I've already told you he is a Mississippi inmate, and he allegedly applied for unemployment benefits using multiple other prisoners' personal information and using his mother's address to receive the payments. One thing I can say about COVID is I think that's when we really got into relying on doing things online, because I think that this is probably what happened. He was able to do that. Well, because of Operation Payback, they discovered what Mr. Ken Jarrell was doing. And on May the 15th, he was arrested and he received a 59-count indictment, which includes 19 counts of identity theft, 20 counts of fraudulent representation to defraud the government, and 20 counts of wire fraud. Now, the thing that's got me wondering is, did these inmates whose identity he stole, were they aware of this? And did they get a cut of the money? I've also learned that apparently, not just in Mississippi, but in several states, they have like a card, like a MAC card, or how like EBT cards are now, where you get your food stamps on a card. Well, apparently this is what's being done with unemployment. It's being put on a card. So, I don't even know if his mother knew of any of this or if she was involved in anything. They just don't get into all that. But this seems like a very interesting case to try to follow. And, I'm just curious as who knew what and who else was involved.
His first indictment associated with Operation Payback, the agency's investigation into unemployment compensation fraud. Ken Jarrell Thomas was served with a 59-count indictment, includes 19 counts of identity theft, 20 counts of fraudulent representation to defraud the government and 20 counts of wire fraud. Now, Thomas was in prison while allegedly applying for unemployment benefits using multiple other prisoners' personal information and using his mother's address to receive the payments. Auditor Shad White says during COVID, his office discovered Mississippi handed out more than $500 million in illegal unemployment compensation payments.
Now we have a couple, Brandon Williams and Miranda Truelove. And what did they do? Well, they conspired to defraud the state of Mississippi to obtain illegal unemployment benefits. Now, Brandon Williams is indeed unemployed, and he was probably eligible for those benefits had he not been incarcerated. Now, here's the thing with Brandon Williams and where he truly messed up. While he was incarcerated, he made multiple calls to his wife, Miranda Truelove, and asked her to help him apply for unemployment benefits on a recorded line. I repeat, on a recorded line. You know, there's signs posted. I say this all the time. There are signs posted letting you know that you're being recorded. And the lady, before you get connected, lets you know that, lets both parties know that this call's recorded. So he applies and is approved for unemployment, and he allegedly received these illegal benefits on that card, that I was telling you about, that they put the unemployment on. It's called Way to Go. That's what it's called. Now, I could not find out what he was in jail for, but I do know for these present charges, he and his wife could face up to 5 years in prison and $1,000 in fines. Mississippi is not playing around with this Operation Payback. They are getting to the money.
The state auditor's office says agents have arrested a couple for receiving fraudulent unemployment benefits. Brandon Williams and Miranda Truelove allegedly conspired to defraud the state to obtain illegal unemployment benefits while Williams was incarcerated and therefore ineligible to receive those benefits. Investigators say Williams made numerous phone calls from prison to Truelove, his wife at the time, requesting her help. If convicted, Williams and Truelove could each face up to 5 years in prison and $1,000 in fines.
Now we are going to be traveling to Oklahoma, where we are going to meet Alfred Smith. Alfred Smith is being accused of mail fraud after an investigation confirmed that he filed for unemployment claims for 2 different men and used their unemployment debit card to withdraw cash from the ATM. It is said that he has received more than $13,000 in this case of fraud. Here's how it got started. The First Liberty Bank called police and said that there was a man that had been acting strange and withdrawing money from the ATM using multiple cards. And this was on June 7th. And they said that he had done the same thing a week prior. During this investigation, the employees at the bank were able to identify Alfred Smith as the man using the card. Now, what's the problem with that, you say? Well, the debit card was issued to Aldero Castillo, and it was used to withdraw $500. He also used the card of someone by the name of Renell Johnson, and he withdrew another $500. During the investigation, they were able to verify that Alfred Smith made online applications and they were submitted and approved for Algerio Castillo and Renell Johnson on March the 31st. Renell Johnson's account had been approved for $6,849 and had a balance of $4,343.83. Algero Castillo's account had been approved for $6,543 and had a balance of $3,534.85. During the investigation, Mr. Castillo and Mr. Johnson were contacted, and they stated that they had not applied for unemployment benefits and did not give anyone permission to file for them. They also said that they had no idea who Alfred Smith was. Needless to say, old Alfred Smith has been charged with mail fraud, and if he's convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison, and $250,000 in fines.
Man arrested, accused of stealing thousands of dollars using fraudulent unemployment debit cards. Police say Alfred Smith had dozens of unemployment cards and was trying to get money from a bank in the village. News 4's Angela Shin has more.
Thousands and thousands of dollars were involved in our arrest here in the village.
Deputy Chief Russ Landon with the Village Police Department talking about a fraudulent unemployment case. 36-year-old Alfred Smith is accused of using multiple benefit cards to withdraw money from an ATM at First Liberty Bank. The bank thought it was suspicious, so they deactivated the ATM and called police. Smith was found in a nearby parking lot. According to the police report, the officer observed a large bulge inside of Mr. Smith's left sock around the ankle. Inside were 4 OESC unemployment cards, none of them with his name. Smith allegedly withdrew $500 on 2 cards, and when police searched his car, a black money bag containing $4,480 was located in the trunk of the vehicle.
We did conduct a more detailed search of the vehicle and were able to find dozens of unemployment cards secreted inside the vehicle.
Officers arrested Smith and he was later booked into the Oklahoma County Jail. Officials say this kind of fraud is becoming more and more common.
They file unemployment fraudulently, and somehow they're able to get those debit cards mailed to addresses, maybe abandoned homes or P.O. boxes. They get those cards and go withdraw lots and lots of money and then disappear.
That is something that happens and that we work with law enforcement on every single day.
And police say this arrest could be just one of many.
It appears that there may be more than one person involved using dozens and dozens of cards in Oklahoma and maybe many more throughout the U.S.
And that was Angela Shin reporting. And since federal funds were involved, police have turned this case over to a federal task force with the Department of Labor.
We are now going in to Atlanta, where we are going to meet a 47-year-old businessman by the name of Austin Martin Swempensy. Now, I will be referring to him as Austin because it's a struggle saying that last name. Now, Austin is an Atlanta businessman, and he has been sentenced to over 3 years in prison for his role in laundering money that he acquired through fraudulent unemployment claims during the C-19 pandemic. And he also had some accomplices helping him out with this. Austin had this sophisticated operation that exploited the CARES Act unemployment benefit program. And by using stolen identities, he had claims with the Washington Employment Security Department, diverting desperately needed pandemic aid into his pockets and his accomplices' pockets. This scheme of Austin's victimized over 30 individuals, and it also strained resources meant to support businesses and workers during the economic turndown. In addition to those crimes, he also submitted false applications for economic injury, disaster loans, and paycheck protection program loans for two of his businesses. Now, I don't know what his business is, and I tell you, I don't know who he is, because as hard as I tried, I could not find an image of this man, nor could I find what type of businesses he had. When I search for images of him, what you see before you right now is all I could find. So, apparently he's a big enough businessman where he has the money to be able to keep his picture from being on, his mugshot, just anything I can't find. I didn't think to check Facebook because that is an unusual name. Now, in addition to his prison sentence, he is ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $210,052.52. And once he gets out of prison, he will be under supervised release for another 3 years. Now, he took a plea, and so his plea was charges of money laundering and conspiracy. I don't know, anything about his co-defendants, their sentence, and I'm quite curious if that's how much he has to pay back in restitution. If his co-defendants have to pay back, I'm just wondering how much money he was able to get, because it does not say, what the total money that he stole was. Now, in addition to me not being able to find a photo of him, I could not find any footage. So, as much as I am a true crime junkie, I tell you, I've never looked into fraud as much as I have recently over the past few weeks. And it seems like the last few stories I did had something to do with fraud. And I have a couple of more that I want to do. A couple of more. I mean, a couple more that I want to do. So we might see a fraud theme going on for the next few days, but there's also some other crimes that are real serious that I want to talk about, but they're very sensitive. So I'm trying to find a delivery for that, because there are crimes, no matter how gruesome or how disgusting they are, there's stories that need to be told. The victims need to be acknowledged. So, I'm gonna find a way to kind of water it down so that it's not so bad. But so that's what we will be doing, and that's what you have to look forward from me this week. Some more fraud and a few serious crimes that, even though fraud is serious, these are more serious because they involve the little people. And by little people, I mean children. So I want to leave you with this before I go. Be so good that they can't ignore you. I thank you for listening. Once again, I am Legacy Moon. If you are not subscribed to this channel, you might want to go on up there and hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so that you know when I drop my next video. And if you do not mind, I wish that you would just give this video a thumbs up so that I can get my video in the beat of the algorithm. Thumb, thumb,